We unfortunately see this being abused when we go to the West Bank and see the severe rise in settler violence that has happened since the 7th of October. According to the UN, we're talking about 3 times the number of attacks daily. The spread of weapons and weapon ownership within Jewish society should really bother everyone within society, because we know that these weapons can fall into the wrong hands in the future. They can be aimed in gender violence against women, they can be fired by children, and terrible accidents that can happen. But even worse is that they're finding their way into the hands of some of the most radical settlers in the country, who are using them really to attack Palestinians, especially in agricultural areas of Area C, who are just out to try and make a livelihood from the land. At the same time, we're seeing a conflict that clearly doesn't have a military solution, and any rise in violence or weapons is going to end tragically. We need to find a different direction out of this. Israel is a country where it is becoming easier to get a weapon license. And so there's a series of bureaucratic steps that need to be taken, and psychological testing, and shooting a weapon and having a license. But yes, it's becoming much easier. And I see around me, even in the town that I live in, I see friends, men and women, who've decided to purchase a private weapon. Settler violence is tolerated by the current Israeli government. They tolerate it. There's members of the Israeli government who incentivize, who promote settler violence. This is unacceptable. Settler violence must be wiped out through law enforcement, through the Secret Service, and through the army working together to put these violent terrorists in jail. It's a very dark time. And we can only imagine the population in Gaza that for 16 years has had the hope drained out of it by really being kept in an open-air prison with no real future around them and only one political reality that they can choose from. It's a terrible human rights abuse. And I pray that we come out of this situation with more hope for individual people, more hope for Gazan people, and more hope for our whole region.